Welcome, Americans, Asians, Africans, to my YouTube channel titled Teacher Kadonji, the world journalist from Tanzania, Africa. Literature is there to educate you about things which happen in our society. Also is there to remind you about things which happen in the year of 17, 18, 19, and 20th century. Today I have brought you the famous novel from North America titled The Beloved by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison was born in February 1931 and died in August 5, 2019. She was an American novelist and editor. Her first novel, The Bruised Eye, was published in 1970. She wrote her novel Beloved to make Africans aware against brutality, racism, and classes done by white people. In this novel, there is conflict between white people and Africans or black people in America. Toni Morrison used narration technique to narrate the events which happened in 19th century. She used dialogue to the characters. The main setting is from America. This novel divided into 3 parts with a total of 28 chapters. Toni Morrison used flashback plot. The events are not arranged in chronological order. Toni Morrison employed different literary devices in her novel. Example, symbolism. The word milk, mother's milk, is a primary source of sustenance for newborn babies. Because of this, mother's milk symbolizes life, love, and the mother's responsibility to her child. Another literary device is motif. Loneliness is another recurring motif in Beloved. Most of the central characters grappled with feelings of loneliness. Another is dramatic island. Baby Sags is able to raise herself and create a traditional mother's son. Bond with all her other children were sold away to other plantations, never to be seen against baby Sag's life. This is dramatic island. Example, Hal, the only son she's able to raise, buys her freedom. Page 307. The one who gives you this story is teacher Kadonji, the world journalist from Shinyanga, Tanzania, Africa. Toni Morrison wrote this novel Beloved to reveal the issue of slavery in America and Africa. Also, she wrote to reveal the theme of brutality to the Africans who live in America, exploitation, racism, betrayal, hypocrisy, and death of people. Toni Morrison wrote this novel to impart knowledge to the learners against exploitation, brutality, racism, and hypocrisy among the people in the society. My dear listeners, students, be in front to struggle against for human rights. The work examines the destructive legacy of slavery as it chronicles the life of a black woman named Cecil. From her pre-Civil War days as slave in Kentucky to her time in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1873. Although Cecil lives there as free woman, she is held prisoner by memories of the trauma of her life as slave. The novel is based on the true story of black slave woman Margaret Garner, who in 1856 escaped from a Kentucky plantation with her husband Robert and their children. They sought refuge in Ohio, but their owner and law officer soon caught up with the family. Before their recapture, Margaret killed her young daughter to prevent her return to slavery. In the novel, Cecil is also passionately devoted mother who flees with her children from an abusive owner known as school teacher. They are caught, and in an act of supreme love and sacrifice, she too tries to kill her children to keep them from slavery. On her 2-year-old daughter dies, and the school teacher, believing that Seth is crazy, decides not to take her back. Seth later has beloved inscribed on her daughter's tombstone, although she had intended for it to read, "Dearly beloved." She did not have the energy to pay for 2 words. Each word cost her 10 minutes of sex with the engraver. These events are revealed in flashback as the novel opens in 1873 with Seth and her teenage daughter, Denver, living in Ohio, where their house at 124 Brewston Road is haunted by the angry ghost of the child Seth killed. The hauntings are alleviated by the arrival of Paul D., a man so revenged by his slave past that he keeps his feeling in the tobacco bin of his heart. He worked on the same plantation as Seth, and the two begin a relationship. A brief period of relative calm ends with the appearance of a young woman who says that her name is Beloved. She knows things that suggest she's the reincarnation of Seth's lost daughter. Seth is obsessed with asking her guilt and tries to placate in the increasingly demanding and manipulative Beloved. At one point, Beloved seduced Paul D. After learning that Seth killed her daughter. He leaves. The situation at 124 Bluestone worsens as Seth loses her job and becomes completely fixated on Beloved, who is soon revealed to be pregnant, while the lonely and largely housebound Denver initially befriends Beloved. She begins to grow concerned. She finally dares to venture outside in order to ask the community for help, and she is given food and a job. As the local women's attempt to stage an exorcism, Denver's employer arrives to take her to work and says mistaken him for school teacher and tries to attack him with an ice pick. The other women restrain her, and during the commotions, Beloved disappears. Paul D later returns to the grieving Seth, promising to care for her, and Denver continues to live in the outside world. That is a short summary of the novel, Beloved. Let us look at characters found in this novel. Number 1. Baby Sagis is Harley's mother, Seth's mother-in-law, and Denver's grandmother. Harley buys her freedom before the events of the novel, and after establishing a life at 124 in Cincinnati, she becomes something of a preacher or whole person in the surrounding community, holding gathering in the clearing in the forest. But after Seth killed her child, Baby Sagis become exhausted and withdrawn, caring only about seizing bits of cow, and slowly dies. The second character is Seth. Born on a distant plantation that she barely remembers, Seth is a child of an African-born slave woman whose name she never knew. As a young teenager, she was brought to Sweet Home, where she took a man named Harry Sagis for her husband. She had 4 children, pregnant with the fourth when she fled Sweet Home on foot and alone. When school teacher, the brutal master at Sweet Home, tracked her down, Seth attempted to kill her children rather than see them return to slavery. Seth has a troubled relationship with her own past, often not willing to speak about it, but living it in her own head. She has mass of scars on her back that resemble a tree. The third character is Beloved. Beloved is a ghost of Seth's third child, murdered to protect her from school teacher. Her real name is never known. She is the embodiment not only of the baby's ghost, but also legacy of slavery. She represented as a power of the past to intrude into the present. Another character is Paul D. Paul D was one of the Sweet Home men. He has also suffered horribly and has reacted by shutting away any deep feeling. He shows up at 124 and tries to make a life with Seth. He is powerless against Beloved, who seduces him as a way of controlling him and dividing him from her mother. After nearly 20 years of freedom, he is still unsure of the source of his manhood and his humanity. Another character is Denver, Seth's daughter. She is the grown-up daughter of Seth, who was born during Seth's flight to the north. Denver is 18 years old and terribly lonely. She has not left the yard of 124 by herself to 12 years. She has possessed need to be for beloved and initial will do anything to please her. But she is also a very dynamic character. By the end of the novel, she is transformed into a strong and independent young woman with a new understanding of her mother. Another character is Harry Sagis. Harry Sagis was Seth's husband and father of all of her children. Harry vanished at the time when he was supposed to flee to the north with Seth. Later discovered that he witnessed Seth's brutalization at the hand of school teacher and his nephews. When Paul D last saw Harry, he had gone insane. Another character is school teacher, Mr. Gardner's brother-in-law. School teacher was a cruel and sadistic master, interested in a way to break the wills of his slaves. He conducted a pseudo-scientific study of slaves, treating them in his study the way biologists treat lab animals. Another character is Amy Denver, a former indentured servant. Amy helped Seth to escape to the north, saving Seth's life and helping to deliver her baby. Another character is Howard and Bugler, Seth's sons and her 2 older children. She tried and failed to kill them when a school teacher came. The 2 boys fled years ago after particularly frightening encounters with ghosts. Another character is Mr. Garner, the old master of Sweet Home. Mr. Garner was generous by the standard of slavery owner and insisted that his slaves were on their own male slaves in Kentucky who were real men. Another is Ella, a woman who was agent of the underground railroad. She took Seth on the final leg of her flight to the north. When Ella was a girl, she was shared by a white man and his son. After Seth killed her child, Ella became one of her harshest critics. Later, she softened her opinion and organized the woman to go. Another character is Lady Jones. Lady Jones teaches the black children of Cincinnati how to read and write. She's mixed race with yellow hair that she despises. She was once Denver's teacher. When Denver frees 124 looking for help, she turned to Lady Jones. Another character is Edward Baldwin and Miss Baldwin. Brothers and sisters, they are former abolitionists and try to be helpful to the black community. They own 124, which they allowed baby sagas and their family to use. Edward Baldwin witnessed the exorcism of Beloved. That is the end of the novel. Thank you for listening to me.